Have you seen any of the advertisements for the Frost Blast Pro? Then this video is for you. We are testing this one right here, right now. Welcome back to another Jeff Reviews for you. And as you saw, we are looking at the Frost Blast Pro. It's another personal air cooling device out there on the market, but you know what? Enough talk. Let's get right into this review. We have our Frost Blast Pro. This is supposed to keep us cool on these hot summer days. Retail price I've seen anywhere between $40 and $50. I ended up paying about $48. Our contents, you can see we have directions which are mainly in Chinese. There is some English in there. I have a micro USB charger, and of course I have the Frost Blast Pro itself. Before we hook up the power source, let's talk about the Frost Blast Pro itself. You can see on the top we have an on-off button, we have a mode button, of course there's a light button, that's pretty cool. On the side here we have a water reservoir. This thing can just pop off and you can fill this up with water and put it right back in. The vents right here are directional, which that's nice. There is a filter inside. I think we pop this top off to get to it. Let's do that now. Pull down this tab, and there is our filter tied to a string. What? I guess we can get it out that way. Maybe. Well, there it goes. Little effort, and we took it out. It's not too impressive inside. All we do is have that fan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this filter back in. We're going to plug it in, get some water, and see if this keeps us cool. We filled this up with regular tap water, and this cap does a good job sealing it. Let's put it on there. Oh, we got some bubbles. I guess it's filling up a little tiny reservoir down here. What I want to do now, though, is I want to actually go through the settings since we officially have it plugged in. If you're like me, you want to know where that water went to. And as you can see, it actually goes into a little reservoir underneath here. And I guess what's supposed to happen is that filter is supposed to absorb up that water and blow out some cool air as the fan blows over that wet filter. Now that we added the water, the directions actually tell us to let this sit for about 20 minutes before turning it on. What that does, they said it adds water to the sink underneath here and allows that to fill up through the filter. So we're gonna do that. I wanna give you a quick measurement. You can see that it's about 6.5 inches tall, about 6 inches wide, and a total of about 6 inches deep. So it is not a very big fan, something you would probably put on your desktop. Point of reference, the micro USB plug goes right here behind the water reservoir. It does not appear to have a battery inside, so you have to keep this plugged in at all times to work. To turn it on, we're gonna hit the power button. All right, so you can see we are on level 1, and you know what? Right away, I do feel that fan. I wasn't expecting any power from that fan, but it actually feels okay. I wanted to get my anemometer out here and check that out. On low, we're about 6.06 miles per hour. Let's hit the mode button and turn that up to the second level. You can see a slight increase to right around 6.6 miles per hour. Now let's put that on high. On high, we got all the way up to about 7.8 miles per hour, which actually, it's not that bad. I did not expect a whole lot from this fan, but you can feel the breeze. I'm about 3 feet away. In addition to the 3 different fan settings, we also have what I found to be 4 light settings. So let's try those out. First one you see is blue. Then of course we see green, go to purple. The next one actually oscillates between different colors, but sadly we don't get the yellow or the red by themselves, but we can see them here in the oscillating colors. If you don't want any light on, just hit that button one more time. I wanted to simulate an evening or nighttime, so we've turned off the studio lights here, at least most of them. Now when the fan is on, you will always have 1, 2, or 3 of these lights when we find that button. Now the cool thing about this is you can have the light on, and that's just really what the light looks on there. But you can also turn the fan off entirely. Those red lights went away, but your ambient light is still there. I think that's a pretty cool feature. Most of these little fans that they put out, you can only operate the light if the fan is on itself. This one appears to be separate. So tell me, what are your thoughts of these little swamp coolers? Do you think they work? Not so much? Let me know down in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. Like I said, we're just using regular tap water right now. The directions do tell you to get your best cooling, you want to use ice cold water. They even recommend putting ice chips in. Of course, you did see how small that opening was for us to actually get that ice in. I will try some of those too, but right now I want to get a little bit of a temperature as we're coming off of this fan. The room I'm in is climate controlled to right around 70 degrees Fahrenheit. You can see that that's what this fan is actually reading on the outside. Now let's point this at the little fan blades, and you see we're getting a little bit of cooling. It's about a 6 to 7 degree difference. That's really what you should expect from a fan. You do get some cooling, but it's not drastic. It's important to point out that since we're utilizing water to cool the air, you're actually adding humidity to the air, and that in a sense can make you feel hotter, or at least, man, it's really sweaty hot in here and I don't like it. If you live in a drier area, this could be good, but if you're in a humid area, this is not something you'd probably want. I'm going to run down the power consumption that I've seen since using it. If you're running this on the lowest speed without the light, it runs about 2 watts. That's how much power it requires. Right now you can see that we are at 5 watts, and that's because I'm at full power with the lights on. Therefore, depending on your setting, you use between 2 and 5 watts of power. I should have mentioned that our reservoir here held 10 ounces of water. Now you can see that about half of it went right down here into the basin as soon as we put the reservoir on. What we want to do is we really want to test to see how long this water will last until it runs dry. Once it goes dry, we will try some ice cold water with ice chips to see if we get a better cooling effect. I'll see you back when all this water is gone. We let the reservoir and the tank run dry, and both on low and high, it took just over 5 hours. So that's the typical time you should expect for this to actually contain liquid. If you didn't want to run your water completely out, you can just tip it here from the side and pour out all that water that was in the reservoir. In my opinion, this would probably be best used in an office setting or on a desk where you do have climate controlled and you just maybe need a little extra boost of cooling where you are sitting. Definitely not something if you don't have air conditioning or it's already really, really hot, this kind of thing won't really work, but I want to test it right here. What I'm going to do now is we're going to test it with some crushed up ice and some cold water just to see the temperature coming out. That was one of those tedious things just to get some ice in here, fitting it through that tiny hole, but we got a little under a half. I do have some ice cold water that I'm going to add to this as well. We are full of ice water. We're going to insert this down into the unit and fire this thing up. Remember how before we talked about having to wait 20 minutes for that filter to saturate itself? I don't have to do that here because realistically I already had water in there and I've been using this, so mine is already primed and ready to go. But if yours has not been used, you are supposed to leave it set for 20 minutes to let that filter absorb. We're going to continue on because our filter was already in use for a little while. Temperature of our fan itself, just like before, is about 70 degrees Fahrenheit, but let's check out that reservoir. Wow, 46, 48 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's a lot cooler. Let's fire this up, put it on high. 5 minutes in, I'm rather disappointed. Actually, there's no temperature change. Still the same room temperature and the same temperature that's from this fob right here, and that's really what's detecting coming out of the fan. That's really sad, especially since our reservoir is about 54, 53 degrees Fahrenheit. It should be blowing out some cold air. We've now passed the 10-minute mark, and based on the thermometer here, we are not getting any different air temperature coming out from the fan than we already have in this room. This is kind of disappointing. We still do have some ice in there, although a lot of it has melted. I can still see some in there, so we're going to continue this test. We're now past the 20-minute mark, and as you can see, we've had very little change, and in fact, it's changed we didn't want to. It's gotten a little warmer, about 0.2 of a degree. I will say I have adjusted these vent blades here from time to time, trying to get this fob in the full airflow, and still no positive change. I wanted to make it an hour on this test, but we're just not there. We're actually about 5 minutes shy. And the reason I'm going to call it here is because all of our ice is melted. So we're not going to be getting any cooler water. And as you can see, the temperature is actually rising. If we were getting cooler and cooler, I'd keep going, but the temperature is going up. So therefore, we're done. In this video, we were taking a look at the Frost Blast Pro. So what do we think of it? First things first, let's talk about that price point. I've seen it range anywhere from right around $35, $40 all the way up to $50 or $60. And that, in my opinion, is way too expensive no matter the price range for this product. Based on my experience and use, it's really just a fan that blows out maybe a little bit of humidity into the air that temporarily cools, but if you live in a humid area like I do, it actually makes things worse. Not to mention, if you want to run this all night, your water's going to run out halfway through the night, and you're going to have to get back up and fill it up in order to keep that cooling going. I will say, as a standalone fan, I didn't mind the actual fan speed coming off, plus I really like the ambient light, but in my opinion, it did not do as the manufacturer said and cool my entire area almost like a personal air conditioner. Just didn't happen. Anyway, that was my full review of the Frost Blast Pro. If this is something that you're still interested in, I will leave a link down in the description. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day. On the topic of filters, the directions tell us you can get between 6 to 8 months of use out of a filter before having to reordering a new one. Of course, they didn't have anywhere I could order a new one, but that's what the directions say. My recommendation is if you use this and you're getting it wet constantly, make sure you thoroughly dry this so you can avoid any mold growth. I really do appreciate that you stayed around for my entire review of the Frost Blast Pro, and this is not the first portable air cooler that I review. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna link a few right here, and I would love it if you would click on one of these links. And when you do, by the magic of the internet, I'm gonna join you at one of those videos. So go ahead, click one. They're safe, I promise.